Hello everyone. Today I want to talk to you about the gut-brain axis and particularly how our gut bacteria might affect our mood and be a contributing factor for depression, anxiety, and why really what happens in the gut doesn't stay in the gut. So the first mechanism would be through the vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve is a nerve that goes from our brain down to our gut. It's made of, it's covered by fiber, little fiber, that communicate with the cells on our gut lining. We have known for a while that the messages from your brain goes down to your gut. I'm sure you all heard the expression gut feeling. You've all felt butterfly in your gut if you stress, or if you suffer from IBS and you going through a stressful event, you've noticed probably that things get a little bit worse. But what we've discovered is that actually the messages also go from the gut up to the brain, and they're actually stronger coming from the gut than from the brain to the gut, which is really an amazing discovery, because it means that potentially what we eat will be able to affect our moods. So how does it work exactly? So when we eating, the gut will send messages to the brain, and the actual action of eating is creates inflammation in the gut, and the gut will send a message to the brain telling the brain to produce anti-inflammatory compound. So that's the first mechanism that happens. And what happens is that depression has also been associated with low chronic inflammation that might begin in the gut and then spread to the brain. And so that's one of the mechanisms that happens, is that messages goes up to the brain to tell the gut, from the gut to the brain, to tell the brain to produce anti-inflammatory metabolite and compound. Another one is that the gut will also send messages to the brain to control gut permeability for the gut. So when you're digesting food, the little villi on your intestine will open up to let minerals and vitamin go through to your bloodstream. The problem is when these open up too much, and you can let pass through things that shouldn't be there. So for instance, something called LPS, lipopolysaccharide, which are produced by certain gut bacteria. And those LPS, when they get into the bloodstream, are really inflammatory. So again, the link between inflammation and depression. So what you get is what is called commonly, it's gut hypermeability, but it's often called leaky gut. And the leaky gut occur when that message doesn't work properly between the gut and the vagus nerve. And one of the main contributing factors to this message not working properly or firing up properly is stress. So again, huge contributor here to general inflammation, to inflammation in the gut that can become systemic and then affect your mood. Studies have been shown that inflammation is low chronic inflammation is a contributing factor for depression. So first mechanism. So the second one is inflammation again and butyrate. I've explained, I think, my last video and the one before, I always talk about butyrate. Butyrate is produced when gut bacteria feed on fiber, on soluble fiber. And butyrate is anti-inflammatory again. So if you are lacking good gut bacteria, it might contribute to you getting localized inflammation in your gut. Butyrate also is protective for the gut lining. So again, prevents the gut lining to become too porous and let pass through lipopolysaccharide or inflammatory compound into your bloodstream. And so butyrate is produced by certain gut bacteria, and if you don't have enough of gut bacteria, then you're not producing enough butyrate. Third mechanism would be serotonin and GABA. Did you know that serotonin, 95%, up to 95% of our serotonin is produced in our gut? Yeah, I know, it's amazing. And serotonin is being produced in the production of serotonin is being triggered again by butyrate. So butyrate will latch on to serotonin receptors. So the more butyrate you have, the more serotonin you'll produce. And GABA is a less known hormone. It's kind of your relaxing hormone. And GABA really play a role in improving mood. And there's several, so in GABA, it's not butyrate that plays a role, but it's certain probiotics or bacteria, gut bacteria. So the lactobacillus and bifidobacterium that contribute to the production of GABA. Yeah. So some consideration, it looks like the more balanced your gut is, so by that I mean if you've got good intestinal integrity, a good amount of gut bacteria, a good variety of bacteria, the less likely you are to suffer from mood disorder and depression. However, a lot of the research on gut microbiome in relation to mood and mental health are on the early stage. They are done on animals, a lot of them. And the cause-effect relationship is still a question mark. So do you get an imbalanced gut bacteria and then you become depressed, or the fact that you become depressed will affect the gut bacteria? So it's probably something that we'll know more in a couple of years. And there's a lot of study going on regarding what strain of bacteria can affect mood, it can affect our brain function, and they call psychobiotic. So I'm sure there'll be, in a couple of years, there'll be some probiotic, once they've highlighted which strain contribute to mood disorder, that there will be some probiotics to try and help, I suppose. In the meantime, what you can do to help your mental health is to eat enough soluble fiber to feed your good gut bacteria that will then produce butyrate and bring down inflammation. You can increase the variety, so maybe what I do every week is I try to eat 2 or 3 different type of fiber. So I pick different type of vegetables. I don't know, you could swap your salad for chicory root, you could have arugula the week after, you could, swap and change like this. Or if you're having carrots, you could have yellow carrots or purple carrots instead of your regular orange carrots. And so I'm going to finish with an interesting study, which is called, you can look it up, it's called the SMILE trial, and it was done in Australia in 2017. And the study was the first of its kind, really. I'm just looking at my notes here, and it wanted to show if I improve my diet, will I improve my mood? And the researcher put several participants onto a Mediterranean type of diet, and which is with whole food and very low in processed food, so nuts and seeds, olive oil, lots of fruits and vegetables, beans. And they put another group of participants, so all the participants had, I think it was moderate depression or severe depression, actually. And the other group was going through counseling. And after 12 weeks, they found that the group that was on that had changed their diet improved their symptoms by a third, and some of them were deemed not depressed anymore. And for the group that went through counseling, 8% had some significant improvement, which is really, really amazing. And again, you know, we need more of these studies, but it really shows that if you, like, looking at your diet, there's other things that you can do. Obviously, you've heard about exercise, about social interactions, meditation, etc. But it really shows that diet can influence the way we feel and the way we think. So I hope you found this helpful. Next week, I will be talking about probiotics. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.